Hello, this is Hooked by Happenstance, and I'm Kendra, and it is once again Sunday evening, which means it's time for another Sunday Sunrise, week 26. So my Sunday Sunrise is my solution to New Year's resolutions, or rather than making a bunch of goals in January that I was unlikely to follow through on. Every week I come here and I lay out a small-ish list of what I believe are going to be manageable crafting goals for myself. And then I come back the next week and tell you whether I did or did not complete them, shed some light on the choices I did make, and decide what I think I can do with the potential for the week to come. So, let's begin with last week's list. Last week was the first week in a few that I had decided to actually have focused, measurable goals and try to get my act together and do things specifically beyond just kind of a general, you need to get this office done, because I've been working on my office for the past while. Well, I did very, very well on my goals this week. The first goal had been to work on my secret project. There actually were 2 secret projects, and both of them have been launched. The first was that I started a Patreon page, which is a funding platform where people can help support creators financially directly, so that way we don't have to rely on things like ad revenue and things like that. You can sign up for monthly perks, and we both benefit from the whole thing. If you're interested, there is a link in the description to my Patreon page. Also, I started my own website this week for my online shop, so I am no longer listing bags on Etsy. I've moved over to my own website, which is shop.hookedbyhappenstance.com. Again, that's shop.hookedbyhappenstance.com. So you can remember, it's my shop at shop.hookedbyhappenstance.com. And it just got a little bit of a ring to it. I like it. And I've been putting up things, and I've been adding things, and I'm actually running a sale through Friday where all orders of $30 or more get free domestic shipping, and everybody gets these adorable little bluebird stitch markers, which match my bluebird earrings that I made myself, and I've been wearing, and I'm really enjoying. But the earrings are kind of neither here nor there, but the stitch markers could be at your house. Also on my list had been to work on my Sands of Change Afghan. I wanted to make sure that I did 1 round every day at least. I did not do it every day, but I did more than 7 rounds this week, so I feel good about that, and I'm on pace. The other things on my list included listening to Peachlet and following what she said I needed to do as far as my fair projects, and I've been listening to her, and I've been working at those things, and that will continue. I also had made a goal to wash and iron all of the fabric for the drawer liners in my office. Now, I washed all of it. There's 2 pieces still sitting in the dryer, but I did iron the majority of it today. There's many, many, many yards of fabric, so it was a bit of an undertaking, and I will probably finish that this evening. And my final goal for the week was to sew 10 project bags, which I have done, and they are all up in the shop. I sewed some cats with flowered crowns, I sewed some various birds, and I sewed some mermaids. And I found 1 more flamingo bag of the black bags, the colored flamingos that I use as my main purse. I would show you, but it's sitting where I was sitting on the couch. But I found 1 more that had never been listed. So it's listed now. There's 1 if you want to scoop it up, and I don't think I have any more of that fabric hiding anywhere. If I do, probably keep it for myself. So if you want your hands on that, jump over there. Alrighty, let's move on to this week's list. So again, I got out my little paper, big marker, so that I can't overcommit too terribly much. And this time I have 4 things on my list. Now, what I learned from this week's list, you'll see there's some scratched out things at the bottom. I was going to overcommit. I was going to put 5 things on the list. But I took a second, I looked at it, and when my initial thought was, that might be a lot, rather than still committing to it and not being able to reach those goals, I said, well then, why don't we take it off the list? And if you complete everything on the list, you can always add more, and then you won't feel bad for not completing things. So, there's my tip for you. Evaluate your list as you go along, and when you have that gut reaction of, oh, I'm not actually going to do it, just take it off. It's okay. The list is for you. You don't have to feel bad making the list. It's okay. So the first thing on my list is to finish my Schwall of Fame and post the pattern. Now, over on Patreon, like I mentioned, there are perks you can receive. Every tier of patronage receives their name on my Schwall of Fame. Now, the Schwall of Fame is yet to be erected in my office. It will be going up this week. The reason it has not gone up yet is because I'm finishing the Schwall, which will be a shawl that hangs on my wall. So I'm finishing that, and once I do, that pattern will be released as a patron exclusive over on Patreon. So there will be more about that coming this week as I finish it up, but I've been working on that behind the scenes here, and I really, really like the way it's turning out. So I want to keep working on that. The second thing on my list is to make 15 bags, which I think will be doable for the shop, and I have some things that I just want to sew bags for. So 15 bags. And I want to continue to do working on my Sands of Change 1 round a day. I have found that this was a really useful tool for me to get it done, was that I made the commitment to do it once a day, and I knew I had to tell you about it, so I needed to actually do it. And there were times in the evening where all of a sudden I'd be like, what should I do? And then I'd remember, oh, you made that goal, and then I'd go and work on it. And sometimes it would suck me in and I would do a lot, and sometimes I would just barely eke out that round before I fell asleep or went to bed. So it was a good way to keep me after it. And the fourth thing is I would like to finish the cardigan that I'm working on. I am making myself a Keldon cardigan. I am to the bottom ribbing, so I need to do bottom ribbing, sleeves, and then this neckband, which I totally think is doable, but it's been kind of, I don't know, it's a project that got put kind of to the side, probably because it's hot, so the thought of wearing a cardigan is not appealing right now. But I was putting away a cardigan that was in here today, and I was like, oh, you gotta finish that, especially if you're gonna have it done in time for the fair. So that's on my list, and I think that's a pretty full list for what's actually gonna turn out to be a pretty full week around here. There's going to be some more work and stuff going on in our parlor that we're still remodeling. So these are just things I'm going to kind of stuff in around the edges. And we have a lot of days out of the house again. Today was the first day all week that I did not leave the house. Oh, I did. I took the trash out. But I did not have to get in a car. And it was amazing. And that was my goal. I woke up this morning. I walked down the stairs. I told my HookedByHappenstance, I said, I am not leaving the house today. I am not getting in a car. And he said, well, you know, you're just asking for something terrible to happen then because you made that proclamation. I said, no, you're going to have to drive if anything terrible happens because I'm not leaving the house. And nothing terrible has happened, and I have not had to leave the house. So, good things all around. I hope that you all are having a delightful week. Make yourself a list. Pick a few things to do. And again, if when you're putting things down, you have that gut reaction of, I'm not really going to do that, don't put it on the list. Don't do that to yourself, because you know you're just going to argue with yourself later. You're going to feel bad because you didn't do the thing that you knew you shouldn't have put on there anyways. Keep your eyes on the channel this week. There'll be more fun things coming up. There's a link on the screen to subscribe. And like I said, there's links to both the Patreon and my new online shop in the description box down below. And I will see you all later. Bye.